Welcome, everyone, to some red, white, and swole. America, you are looking delicious. You are. You're looking wonderful. We have some amazing stuff today, a very important topic. Thank you so much for being here. Red, white, and swole. America, baby. America, baby. Meh. 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 Anyone? Bueller? Big stuff coming. Big stuff coming from El Rock. We got some new shit from DJ. Check this out. We got to talk about this because big news in the sports media interwebs. Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, purchased the XFL with a team. Obviously, he's going to be kind of like Derek Jeter, quote, buying the Marlins. You know, he's part of a whole squad of people that invested into it, but he's the front runner because obviously his popularity and his name is going to leverage it. So Dwayne says in his tweet, with my trailblazing partner, Dany Garcia and RedBird Capital, we have acquired the XFL. With gratitude and passion, I built a career with my own two hands and will apply these calluses to our XFL 2020 brand. Excited to create something special for the fans. Now, some extra context to this. Vince McMahon actually spent over $200 million. Now, the XFL launched, you can Google it. It was a long time ago, early 2000s, if I remember, maybe a little after. And it was all that stuff like He Hate Me and all the names on the back, kind of like what the NBA is doing now with their clowning peace and equality bullshit fucking bullshit names on the back of their jerseys, all the virtue signaling that's going on in sports. Literally, I never really watched sports or recently anyway, but since all this virtue signaling really surfaced and all this extreme nonsense with the social politics, absolutely, I am not tuning in or supporting any of that crap. I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting what people are allowing to seep in. And really, this is the beginning of just completely smothering free speech and freedom of thought. This is a complete takeover, a complete social takeover. So that nonsense aside, that fucking smudge on the XFL kind of came back around, and it was relaunched recently, this past year, if my memory serves me correctly, and oftentimes it doesn't. But in this case, it got shut down as a result of COVID. So the season, I believe, got ended early, but it went under. Like, it went under because so many things did. I mean, you can imagine trying to build a brand and rebuild a brand and restructure it, and there's no profit margin. Like, you need this momentum to build. So to have Dwayne Johnson purchase the XFL, it's very interesting. Very interesting. He has a history of the Hurricanes. He played football, so he was a high-level athlete, obviously, and obviously he's a high-level athlete with WWE, and he's just a massive social media personality. So he is probably the perfect person to be a part of this. He's a perfect person to leverage it because who knows wrestling, kind of like the emotion or the DNA of what the XFL or the difference was for that. I guess the social media getting attention. I mean, who's better at that than The Rock? Obviously, The Rock knows how to leverage attention. He has such support. Everyone fucking loves him. So he is a great front runner and a great face for the XFL because that bridge between sports and football, it was a bridge between wrestling. It was a bridge between wrestling and that kind of persona, that kind of personality with The Rock personality. When he shows up at WrestleMania, he's not Dwayne Johnson. He's the motherfucking Rock. Just like you go to the XFL, that's a combination between wrestling and sports and football. And those are the two things that he excelled at. And not only that, the XFL needs a quality representation. They need a good face. They need that social media clout. They need that distribution. And who better to do that than The Rock? This was very interesting. I read that it was $15 million. $15 million it cost to buy the XFL. Is it just me, or is that a fucking steal? Is that a steal or what? Now, of course, when you look at the price of something, you look at a house like, wow, that house is only $750,000. Yeah, but you got to pay taxes, and you got to pay electricity, and you got to take care of the lawn, and you got to do this, and you got to do this. So $1 million house or a $750,000 house, it's going to cost you a lot every month and every year. So it's not like you buy a house outright. You buy and then it's just free. Oh, well, I paid $1 million for this house. This house is done. You're constantly shelling out money. So it's the same reason why people go up to their fucking limit when they buy a car, and then they can't afford the gas, or they can't afford an oil change. Everyone likes the brand new, hey, I want a brand new BMW. You get a lease, you're kind of like capped out. Then you go get an oil change and it's like $300. Like, fuck, I don't have money for that. You try to change, you need new tires? Good, there goes $1,000 or $1,500 for fucking tires, because each tire only goes on this side. You can't rotate them. Not really a wise purchase, but a lot of times they just have rabbit holes where you go down, you keep on just a money pit, right? So you buy it for $15 million. It sounds super fucking cheap, but there's no infrastructure now. You can't go outside. There's COVID. I mean, you could do it all virtually. You can have like a virtual arena and just stream it. And maybe the XFL will be the first thing to have like virtual reality where you can actually be there. Maybe they'll hook in with Oculus or something and you could virtually be there in the stadium, and they'll make it really cool. And who knows? I mean, that's all coming for sure, especially with COVID. I mean, that's coming for sure. That's the future. Virtual shit is literally Ready Player One is underway. So I think this is actually a very good purchase. The price is for what The Rock has, for what his partners and everyone has, and the capital and Dany Garcia. Like, obviously, it seems like The Rock is more or less, even movies and I say this a lot, most of what The Rock makes in terms of the movies are terrible. They're so bad. Like bad. Most of his movies, unless they're like blatant action movies, like they're cheesy, they're really poorly, they're just not good movies. They're entertaining maybe, right? So, I mean, it depends on what you mean as a good movie, but it's not like, oh, this is a film. This is a big name that brings in big money, which is what the XFL needs. The XFL needs The Rock's brand. It needs the branding of The Rock. It needs him to bring his hundreds of millions of followers and subscribers to the brand. So if anyone can save this, it's The Rock. And $15 million, albeit there's a lot more that has to be done, a lot more money than that's going to have to build it, to advertise it, to market it, to leverage it. How are you going to distribute it? I think there's a huge, huge potential to make a profit of $15 million. I don't think it's really that challenging if you change the direction of what the XFL means. Is it going to be a stadium with many, many people, or is it going to be an interactive experience with a smaller arena? Less people are needed. You don't need all the security. You don't need a massive arena. You don't need a massive this. Maybe it's a whole different thing. Maybe it's a 3-on-3 thing. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't think anyone does yet. They just purchased it, but I think there's a lot of ideas that are going to be on the table. I think it's pretty damn cool that this idea never really died out. I think it really is a testament to the idea of the XFL itself. And I think, and I hope, I'll end with this. I hope that the XFL, whatever it is, doesn't go full woke, doesn't ruin its branding like all the other sports, like the MLB, like, the NFL and the NBA that just tuck tail and bend over to every last whim and alienates most of their fans that are logical, that don't like to jump on these fucking social bandwagons. Because if you have a brain in your head and you're actually thinking critically about what these social movements and this virtue signaling leads to, it's some scary shit. There's a lot of dangerous stuff happening that people think is just harmless. Like, we have an amazing country. Red, white, and fucking swole. We have an amazing country. We are one of the most progressive, one of the least racist countries in the world. You just go around the world. You see what other countries have to offer. You see what other countries are like. The United States is fucking amazing. Why do you think everyone wants to come here? So people are making that kind of stuff a problem. And I hope the XFL doesn't. I hope The Rock takes a neutral road and actually creates a great product, because that's what the XFL needs. But I think it's a testament to the idea of the XFL, because I think everyone realizes that it kind of comes into this XFL circle that has to do with it. They realize that there's something here. There's room, just like there's Facebook, and there's Google, and there's Twitter, and there's TikTok popped up, and Snapchat. Like, where'd they come from? They were hugely successful for a while. Snapchat went out, or kind of is a sleeper right now. And then TikTok is going to get broken off. We'll talk about that in another Red, White, and Swole. But you see this there's there's room for players. There's room for more. And when you think about sports, think about that. Like, when's the last time that a new sport surfaced? Like a new sport. You've had sports that were more popular, but it's kind of like been, in terms of where you go to watch sports, kind of had the same shit over and over again. You got baseball. It's changed differently over the years. NFL, basketball. It's like not a lot has changed. You don't have a new sport. So obviously it's a football. It's not that much different from the NFL, but maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need some more separation from the NFL, like enough to make it something different. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Have you read something? Do you know what they are maybe planning on doing with the XFL? Do you have any ideas of what would make the XFL stand out enough to be worthwhile? Do you think it should be something where it has large crowds? Do you think going full virtual is too soon? I mean, I think it's too soon because it's not going to be ubiquitous enough access to virtual reality, but it will be soon with like maybe Apple's glasses or, Oculus and these different, HTC Vive and stuff like that. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the XFL? I think it's a great purchase. I think financially it's a steal if they can flip it around. I'm curious as to, this means that they have a plan for it. They have an idea and they see the value in it. Obviously that's why they're putting the money, because this is just the tip of the iceberg financially. That's why you need a capital company, you need funding, you need a team, they didn't buy this without an idea. They didn't buy this without a concept. Like, I will just buy this cool brand. I think this might be the first time. I mean, at the same time, you had Vince McMahon wielding the power of the WWE and he couldn't get it launched. But this most recent stint, I would say just more from the quarantines and stuff, that shut it down more and just, it's not a valuable option, just too much money spent on it. The first time it was launched was probably ahead of its time, but creative. It's a cool name, sounds awesome. People love football. People are, I think, eager. Now is a great time to create something different that doesn't have the history of nonsense and bullshit. Like you get rid of all the crap that the NFL has had, hanging over its head, the cloud. You get rid of all the clouds of other sports. You have the potential to create something new from scratch. So what do you want it to be? What do you think, fam? Drop a comment down below. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy this. And make sure you hit the button to subscribe. If you're brand new to the channel, hit the button to subscribe, because I go live every single day right here on the Daily Swole. And of course, you'll get some more Red, White, and Swole all the time. I'll try to be here more often. But if you don't subscribe, how am I going to know you exist? I love you. I want to love you. I want to know more about you. Tell me about yourself. Drop in the comments. And I'll see you real soon for some more Red, White, and Swole. Peace out, beaches.